As a Black woman in America, I feel like I needed Joe Biden to win. Now, why do I say that? I have felt that there has been an assault on Black families for such a while. If he hadn't won, my sense of hope would have been gone. And this is a sentiment shared by other Blacks as well. And so for me, I needed him to win, not just because I'm a Black woman, but in addition to me being a Black woman.
Basically, our approach from the very beginning was that this was a contest between two capitalist parties, the Democrats and the Republicans. The Republican Party, which now holds political power.
This time in American history is the sense of defeat that I almost felt when I thought Donald Trump was winning. Now, why is this important? When George Floyd was killed, we can't only say assaulting and killing Black men is wrong. I needed to have my fellow Americans who are white, who are Indian, who are Spanish, who are mixed race. We all needed to stand out there.
Through the regime of Donald Trump, was much hated by the working people of this country. And as a result of that, the great hatred and animosity that was built up over 4 years of this use and abuse by the Trump administration, the people were sick and tired of Donald Trump.
And of course, in the primary, Bernie Sanders began doing very well. Very real chance of winning the nomination from the Democratic Party. But Barack Obama, of course, famously made several calls and united the centrist wing against Sanders, led to his defeat in that primary.
On the other hand, the Democrats chose Joe Biden for their champion. And Joe Biden, unfortunately, is not a progressive at all. So the vote can be largely interpreted as an anti-Trump vote rather than a pro-Biden vote.
Which then led, of course, to this election with many social issues going on, the pandemic, which is particularly terrible in the United States, the resulting unemployment and so on. And it really just came down to the centrists and the right against the progressive left fighting for basic rights like healthcare and jobs and so on. We're getting exit polls. We're getting more information about who voted for Biden and who voted for Trump and all that.
There was no excitement about Joe Biden because he has a whole history of neoliberal policies that he's pursued. And record numbers of people turned out to vote in the latest election. They had an all-time historical turnout of more than 150 million people, which is 30 million people more than 4 years ago.
What I'm concerned with now is there has been significant number of people who voted for Donald Trump. And what concerns me is that there are 70 million people who still felt that he himself.
But in any case, we were not surprised by the results of the election, which basically reflects that there is a deep chasm in the electorate in the United States, and that basically it's right down the middle. 70 million people voted for Donald Trump, which means that 70 million people embrace his racist, capitalist ideology and set aside all of his quirks and failures as a human being and voted for him irrespective of all the faults and of him being pro-fascist, white supremacist, anti-worker.
And I think one of the most important things for us is that Trump in many ways built his lead in the rural areas in the United States. I think a lot of people who expected a blue wave, that expected a Democratic landslide, expected more rural voters where there has been terrible coronavirus outbreaks to go to Biden, but they did not.
That means that the people who turned out were definitely anti-fascist in their outlook for what the United States should, how the United States should be governed.
A vast majority of the people that voted for him weren't actually voting for him. They were just not voting for Trump, which to me is, shouldn't be reason enough to vote for somebody.
I have been fighting social justice issues and racial justice issues for 20 years. Was better for America at this time, at this point in time. That's what's a concern to me.